Dear reader, I'm Tony and this is Book Text. Today I have my TBR for the Cloak and Dagger Christmas readathon that will be held in December. But first, our word of the day is a fabulous word that actually came in my email from the OED or Oxford English Dictionary Word of the Day email subscription. And it is the word reptiliferous. Reptiliferous refers to a kind of sandstone or rock that usually contains the fossils of reptiles. So it's an adjective, but it's a very specific adjective, where you might live in a place in Scotland where there are often reptiliferous rocks. So the Cloak and Dagger Christmas readathon is hosted by Kate at Kate Howe, Kate at the Novel Nomad, Carolyn at Carolyn's Reading Rambles, and Janelle at Too Fond of Books, and I'll link to their readathon information down below. It's typically a mystery reading kind of month, and this year their prompts are so fun. They've based their prompts off of the rooms on a Clue or Cluedo game board, and then you have to read a book that has to do with one of those rooms, which I think is so clever, and I'm really excited. Clue is my absolute favorite board game, and I'm not allowed to play it with my mother anymore because she cheats. Not really, but she just has a better strategy than I do, where she takes serious notes on what everybody says. But at any rate, I love the game. There are also 3 levels of prompts, so you don't have to do all the prompts in order to participate. You can really just do whatever you want. But there are 9 prompts, and if you do 3, you are at the level of amateur sleuth, 6, you become a police detective, and 9 is the level of Sherlock Holmes. So here are the prompts. Number 1 is the study room, which is where you read a book about your profession or what you studied in college or what you would like to learn more about. And for this prompt, I am going to be reading Amanda Cross, Death in a Tenured Position. This is the story of a professor at Harvard who is murdered. And I am a professor. I am not tenured. I hope to eventually be tenured someday, but this is a book about my profession. And it sounds kind of maybe some tongue-in-cheek. It's described as, sharp, funny, even delicious. And I think that's kind of a wonderful way to describe a book about college professors, because we tend to be a little bit stuffy. So for something to be funny and delicious is just a delight. I've combined a couple of the prompts into one book. So for 3 prompts, for the library, which is a book that references books or that you borrow from the library, and for the conservatory, which is a book featuring nature or travel or warm climate, and for the kitchen, which is a cozy food-based mystery or a small town mystery, I will be reading Susan Wittig Albert's The Tale of Hilltop Farm, which is in a series called The Cottage Tales of Beatrix Potter. So this is kind of an imagination of Beatrix Potter when she first moves to her cottage, and where she wrote a lot of her stories, or where she kind of lived a lot of her stories, and she has to solve mysteries that are in her new small town. And some of her characters from her stories appear in here. For example, there's a cat that, you can kind of see what the cat is saying to its owners, even though the people don't actually hear the cat speaking. It's just a kind of a reimagination of that world that Beatrix Potter created. And so this covers those prompts because it features nature for the conservatory. It references other books, the Beatrix Potter stories, so that covers the library prompt, and it takes place in a small town, so that covers the kitchen prompt as well. Then For the Hall, you have to read a book that enters you into a new-to-you author, series, or subgenre of mystery. And for this prompt, I will be reading C.J. Sansom's Dissolution, which is part of the Matthew Shardlake Tudor England mystery series. And so this is a new author to me. It's a new series to me. It's not necessarily a new subgenre because I have read kind of like historical fiction mysteries, but I have not read Tudor mysteries necessarily. So this is going to be an kind of intriguing. It takes place, under Cromwell's England, and it should be a really unique mystery for my reading in December. Then for the prompt of the Billiard Room, which is you have to read the next numbered book in a series or a book involving sports or games. I will be reading, I've mentioned this book recently because I started reading it and then had to put it on hold. I will be reading Louise Penny's Bury Your Dead, which is the next for me in the Inspector Gamache series, which are numbered and they should be read in order because there's definitely overarching character development and themes that you want to watch out for. And so this covers the next in a series. This series is set in Quebec in a small town, and it's very interesting how well this series is. It kind of blends the genres of like cozy and literary mysteries. So I've been really enjoying that. And then for the last three, I will combine those as well into one book. So for the dining room, you need to read a closed circle mystery or a small group of people like at a hotel or a dining party. Then for the lounge, a book written in the Golden Age, which is the 20s or 30s, or is set in the Golden Age. And then for the ballroom, your book should feature a party. So for those three, I found 13 Guests by J. Jefferson Farjan. And this is out of the British Library Crime Classics collection. And this book features a hunting party, and someone in the hunting party perishes. And so you know that it's someone in this closed circle. So that covers the lounge. That covers the dining room. For the lounge, it is written in the 30s. This is one of the kind of lesser known Golden Age crime novels, mystery novels. So that covers the lounge. And then for the ballroom, it features a hunting party. So there is a party. And the picture would maybe suggest that there's a fancy ballroom in the hotel where they're staying. Not quite sure because I haven't read it yet. But this should be an interesting, new to me look at Golden Age mystery. So that's what I'll be reading for those three prompts. Then there is a group read. They are reading the short story The Birds by Daphne du Maurier. I will be joining in with that because it's a short story. I mean, it's a fairly long short story, but it's definitely doable in December. And I actually read that out loud to my family over video calls this summer. It was one of our quarantine activities that we did. We're all in different states, and so we just joined on a video call, and I did a dramatic reading. And my father, who thinks himself very funny, he's definitely like the paragon of a dad joke kind of dad. Every time I said the word birds in the story, he would squawk like a bird. So it'll be good to read that story again without my dad squawking. Bless his heart. And then there's also a group watch, which is Agatha and the Truth of Murder. More details on that at the announcement videos that I'll link below. But I will also participate in the group watch because I have easy access to Agatha and the Truth of Murder about Agatha Christie. So that is my Cloak and Dagger Christmas TBR. Please comment with what you are reading if you're participating in this readathon as well. And also if you've read any of the books that I read and had some interesting insights into them. Always remember, there's always another book.